Around 200 students from across the Thames Valley and Chilterns, including many schools from Bucks and Milton Keynes, are here visiting Auschwitz in Poland. You may recognise it more from the town's German translation, Auschwitz. The Lessons from the Auschwitz Project is organised by the Holocaust Educational Trust.
A large part of our mission is to try and educate people about the Holocaust. We're here on the Lessons from Auschwitz Project, and the aim of that mission is to try and take 2 students from every school around the country to Auschwitz-Birkenau at some point, so 2 sixth form students. And our hope is that through that those students will learn more about the history of the Holocaust, but also the lessons of the Holocaust and the contemporary relevance of the Holocaust. Our aim in bringing them here is not to shock them and it's not to traumatise them, and I think the idea of having the 3 parts of the programme where we see them is that we give them an orientation, so we introduce them to the history, but we also help them to think about their own expectations on what it might be like to visit Auschwitz-Birkenau, so they're not coming here completely unprepared. And then while they're here, we try to lead them through as much as possible, and obviously the nature of what happened here is that it is quite shocking, but we hope that they learn something and that they don't just go away being horrified. And so we then have a debrief, so in a few days' time we'll meet again and we'll give them a chance to reflect on what they've seen, to discuss it with other people who were there with them, and also to start to think about how they will then take what they've learned back to their local community and share it with other people either in their school or in the community beyond as well. A lot of the students that we bring here will have studied the Holocaust in some way, and often they'll have read about it, but overwhelmingly we find when we talk to them afterwards, they say that the experience of having visited makes them understand it in a different way, and it has a huge impact on their understanding and their knowledge of what happened here.
I just can't believe other people could do that to other people. It's just horrific. There aren't any words to describe what it's like how it is. For me, the scratches on the walls in the gas chamber was just, literally, I'm just lost for words. It was awful.
It's really humbling. The scale is something I don't think you quite get from hearing about it. You know, the numbers of 6 million and 1.1 million, and you hear them and you think, okay, but you can't see it, and then you go into the gas chamber, even a small one, as it was compared to the ones at Birkenau, and they're filled with scratches, like millions and millions of scratches on the walls.
When you see it with your own eyes, it's just, there's no doubt in your mind that it happened, not that there ever was, but it's just so real. When you hear things, there's a tendency to think, yeah, I know that happened. But when you see it, it's just like that, it hits you. It's like that did happen. Those are real people. This is the real world. Like, they all had names and families and houses, and they were just people. And I think when you hear it, that doesn't quite get to you, but when you see it with your own eyes, then it's just so real.
It wasn't 1 or 2 people that were killed. It wasn't even 10 or 20. It was hundreds of thousands, and the ability for it seems so easily turn 100 millions of lives into numbers on paper, or not even numbers on paper, on bodies that went through and then were burnt is humbling.
Of the 6 million Jews who were murdered in the Holocaust, around 1.1 million of those died in Auschwitz-Birkenau. And so while that is not the majority of Jewish people by any means who were murdered in the Holocaust, this is the single biggest site of mass murder where Jews were killed.
They sent a brochure out to the school offering the chance for 2 students to come on a trip like this. Obviously the students had heard about the Holocaust before, studied a little bit in school, and it's incredible to give them the chance to come out here and see where it actually happened. It brings it all to life.
You say Auschwitz, you instantly think you know what went on here, but it's not until you actually are present here and see for yourself the atrocities and the concentration death camps, and you realise just what went on here. And I guess that is the whole ethos, the whole message for the Holocaust Educational Trust, to get that message out and make sure people don't forget.
Like, people say what happened here, but you don't know what happened to it. You actually feel what it was like, and how they must have been through, like what they've been through from there to here, and if they died or not.
We always need visual prompts for them, visual aids, but nothing gets better than this, actually being in the place, seeing the things from the people that were involved, and getting a feel for it by being here as well.
And on a personal level, how have you found it?
I found it's the size of where we are now. The Auschwitz-Birkenau is immense. Obviously, seeing the famous tower and railhead as you come in, but in Auschwitz I, seeing especially things like the human hair was just overwhelming, incredible.
I think the experience has been quite life-changing, because to experience such a place where there's been such devastation occurring, it kind of makes you feel emotional and feel a feeling that you've never felt before. I mean, to be here in Auschwitz-Birkenau kind of makes you, along with the weather as well, it makes you understand how the Jewish people felt when they were trapped in these concentration camps.
It's difficult because I'm freezing right now, and imagining how they would have felt with no rags on, just freezing. It's awful. But with my origin, I'm from I'm a Slav, I'm Serbian, so a lot of my family would have been taken to places like this, and it really makes you think and I'm very emotional about it.
על משכבותיו